Let's give a round of applause for Miss Laura C as she takes to the stage and share her insights on developing the gaming ecosystem for Layer 2. Thank you. The stage is yours.
Okay, thanks. This works. Thanks very much. And I actually changed my topic in the last minute because I don't want to tell about Dankun. I don't want to tell about what is ZK equivalent. I think, well, this is lunch. Let's make some casual conversation about gaming. Where should I point it to? Okay. So I need to make a proper introduction to myself. So my name is Laura. I'm coming from Consensus. This is a better way actually to introduce who's Consensus. You see a lot of logos that you may or may not be familiar with, but we want to tell you focus on linear networks. So linear networks is ZK layer 2 introduced by Consensus. It's a stack. It's also coming from the same company that introduced MetaMask, which is a product. So this is the different product introduced by Consensus. And we also have Infura, and very soon Infura will be decentralized as Dean. Therefore, you can imagine we're actually very progressively exploring the decentralized pathway for our different products. Let's say we start from linear, followed up by Infura, which will be the decentralized infrastructure network offering RPC and partner with multiple node operators who will ultimately contribute to decentralized sequencer. And last but not least, MetaMask. Okay, so why gaming? I think we have been talking about digital content in this industry. We got music, we got video, we got games, but why game particularly? I don't want to have the easy answer saying, okay, so data taught us we need game in Web3. It is actually about gaming developers. It's actually the only digital content developer that consistently want to try something and make things happen in Web3. And why is that happening? It is because there's something wrong with the existing value chain distribution in this industry. And the game content developers just got their economic worse and worse in Web 2. And that's actually the pain point they're facing and keep pushing the digital content happening with blockchain technology. So I want to use this chart to show you what has been explored. Frankly speaking, especially with as a company behind not only a ZK VM layer 2, but also a self-custodial wallet. We don't think Metaverse is ready, let's say in 12 months or 24 months. Of course, Dankun having contributed materially to the progress. But let's talk about Web 2.5 game, Web 3 game, and last but not least, social protocol. We need PGC, PUGC. Well, UGC is actually ultimately is going to make the entire economy of the future Web3 platform has a sustainable business model. And this is actually the slides I use for internal education to a software company talking about the value chain of gaming. We're saying these are the problems facing by the content producer at the moment. You see, publisher usually got up to 70% of the distribution of the revenue. And why I talk about revenue, it is about what end user is paying. It could be pay to play, it could be purchase the skin, but at the end of the day, publisher is taking care of the monetization, how to make things happen at the local market, as well as go-to-market distribution in Google Store, Apple Store, as well as traffic acquisition. That's why usually everyone knows what Apple stores and Google stores charging for 30%. But you also need to take care of the traffic acquisition cost. And after all of them has been collected by the publisher and distributor, doing your own calculation, you realize game producer who spends years polishing their content, they got much less than 30%. Imagine you and your friends pay $1,000 to play a game. You think those 1,000 all goes to the producer you love, who truly know how to introduce a game. But at the end of the day, they may only get less than 100. That's what the game producer has been facing as of today. This is another flow that I generated today for how you can imagine a Web 2 or I would say video game content getting produced and ultimately introduced to a Web3 ecosystem, and what are the tools and infrastructures you can imagine, or hopefully, like I'm not sure if there is a game producer staying downstairs, but these are the tools, generally speaking, we need. I know like this got more and more advanced after we have Dankun. I mean, the infrastructure got better layered every month. But roughly speaking, you need higher API and SDK in addition to a game engine. You need wallet as the gateway. And yeah, you may want to introduce MetaMask Snap, as you may consider that is a mini game distribution platform. You may need an app-chain modular solution, depends on how you see the truly on-chain TPS you're looking for. And last but not least, when you talk about the end user access, this is not for the publisher, it is also for someone who wants to do a Web3 distribution business in this industry. And last but not least, I want to tell you something about how we position Linear. So think about this. Like if you're a game producer, you don't care about zkEVM. If you're a producer who's taking care of having the game launch in Web3, you care about zkEVM. So it shouldn't be the content producer's business to figure out what are the content for Web3. It is actually the publisher, the distributor, and they are the one figure out introducing content to multiple networks today in this industry, and therefore, from the content producer and publisher perspective, each different network, whether it's alternative layer 1, layer 2, they are the desired market or a potential market the publisher is looking for. It will be just the same as you already publish your content you already launch your content in Japan, and now you're considering Vietnam, you're considering the rest of Southeast Asia, and you even consider doing more publishing in Europe for the same content. That is what's happening when the publisher thinking about launching their content in different networks. And therefore, a layer 2 is a market itself. From my personal opinion, it will be the worst business model if one single layer 2 jumping into this space saying, I'm a publisher. I want to deal like directly to the game producer. I go to them saying, hey, how about we cut a deal of 70-30? I will take care of the publishment, and ultimately I will extract the value of your revenue from my token. That is actually the worst business model, not because it shouldn't work, networks should do. Some of the alternative layer 1s did a good job, hopefully, on this one because they have their own token. But that's not the case for layer 2 because layer 2 is using Ethereum to pay the gas. None of the layer 2 is capable to extract the value from a good content through their own token. And no mentioning the layer 2 should focus on making the market being sustainable, has health development. Again, the worst thing they should do, especially for a group of people who is not very familiar with what is digital asset value chain, jump into the business saying, I can do a good job for publishing. That's the wrong business model. The right business model, and that's what Linear has been working on, is that we focus on traffic acquisition. We work directly with publishers, like we work with Citus Hero in Europe. We work, so how should I return to my previous slides? Okay, thank you. Yeah, we work with Citus Hero based in Europe as a publisher. We work with Udo, who based in South Korea as a domestic Web3 publisher. We work with Hyperplay, who is a Web3 game distributor. And what we are working on is we are hosting gaming campaign every 6 months. Why 6 months? Because usually a game content needs new in-game experience every 3 to 6 months. Imagine all the mobile game, all the PC game you have been playing. You need a new season. You need a new battle pass every 3 to 6 months. Otherwise, you will no longer play it somehow. So that's why, for a content producer perspective, they need to introduce new experience to ensure retention as well as monetization. And that's why we have, last September, only 1.5 months after Linear mainnet launch, we got Entertainment Festival. This March, we bring Linear Park to Vietnam. And this September, we will bring something even more exciting. At the end of the day, it is facilitating content launched on Linear. And what we're providing is the top of the funnel traffic acquisition. We'll work closely with the, We will work closely with the content publisher and distributor to ensure that we bring them top of the funnel traffic, but it's actually depending on the content quality itself, as well as the publisher's operating capability to ensure their monetization and retention. That's what a market player should be working on, rather than jumping into a tiny little role in this value chain. As of today, we have been operating Linear Park for 4 weeks. It will be happening in 6 weeks. Within the 4 weeks, we have 800,000 unique participants. And I think last weekend, we have our TPS reaching to 16, which is the highest TPS among all the layer 2s. We are soon having Danco upgrade for Linear particularly, and that will be the time you can imagine materially gas fee further decrease. By then, the gas cost will be around 95 deduction from what we have currently, where at the same time, theoretically, a TPS for layer 2 could reach around 300 to 600. So do the calculation about what will, one, there's a network has up to 600 TPS, what kinds of game user experience you can imagine, and what will be your revised token economics model for the game content. So check this out. This is very entertaining. Hopefully, and let me know your feedback and comments. For builders, if you're considering start with building with Linear, let me know. If you're a game content producer, I will introduce the best publishers that you can find in this industry. I will get your game properly distributed in Web3, and we will bootstrap you through the Linear traffic acquisition program and reward you with the loyalty token that we have in Linear called LXP Soulbound token. Thank you.